Hi everybody, welcome to the podcast. The Rarity Found Podcast. It's number 3, which is really good. We're getting there. We've got Mr. Brad Burton on the podcast today.
Hello, Jack.
I met him in the Aston Villa networking event, and I watched him do an incredible speech. I was sold. With what you were talking about. You're an author of 4 books. I was really wanted you to get on the podcast. I just went up to you and asked you, and we got it going.
Top man, Jack, and that's the thing with this, is that you always miss the shots you never take. And actually, you know what? I just love your energy and the fact that. How old are you, Jack?
21.
Mate, 21, I was jumping around fields taking ecstasy tablets at raves, and it's lovely to see that you guys are way ahead of me on that one.
Yeah, lovely. Right, so I just want, introduce yourself. You got an incredible story. I'd love to hear it. I think all the viewers like to hear it as well.
Well, which version of me you want, buddy? Do you want the 4-time best-selling author, the UK's #1 motivational business speaker, the founder of 4 Network and the largest joined-up business network before COVID? Or do you want Brad Burton, the guy whose dad left when he was 6 months old, who left school with no qualifications, got shot out when he was 21, been addicted to drugs twice, 4 years on benefits, and delivered pizzas at 31? Which one do you want?
Let's go for the second one, because obviously this podcast is all about mental health, and that's what we're trying to push.
Awesome.
So obviously we want to talk about mental health.
I've had 2 nervous breakdowns, probably 4 burnouts in my life. And actually, as recent as 2021, I had a burnout for 2 weeks. Terrible. Just genuinely terrible. I think this last couple of years has been challenging for anyone. I don't care how robust you are mentally. This COVID thing, we thought it was all going to be fought on the Nightingale wards up and down the land, and actually it's been fought emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, emotionally. We've all had a price to pay for that one. And what happened with me is my national network, 5,000 business networking meetings across the UK, and that's where people know me from generally, because I've been flying around for the last 15, 16 years of that. And then COVID came along, and Boris said 847 days ago, not that I'm counting, please stay at home. And my national network went from 1.6 million quid to £0 overnight. So we had to change and we had to adapt.
Sorry to interrupt you. How did that make you feel, losing everything?
I was all right with it. And what I mean by that is that, you've got to get your bayonets on, lads. And actually, there's a time and there's a place to have a whinge. And that wasn't the time nor the place. What that was the time was for us to think, what does this make possible, and change things up. And actually, you don't have time to be sorry for yourself. It's actually like, right, come on, we need to make this happen. And that's one of the problems, in that I had a team of 800 people looking to me for answers. I didn't have any fucking answers. I'd always had them up until that point, and people had always looked towards me as a leader, in that, my ability to be able to find a way through difficult situations was immense. This was different. And actually, if I said to you, Jack, how long it was going to be when Boris told us to lock down, what would you have said?
I thought it was going to be a few months. I thought it is. Right.
So I've asked a lot of smart people around the UK, and the average answer is 4 months. Some people say 6. Some people say 3. The vast majority say 3 or 6. On occasion, you get 12 months and 2 years, whatever. But in the round, everyone thought about 4 months, and so did we as a team. So we prepared for a 4-month battle. Well, we prepared for a 6-month battle, and actually that was 2 years ago. And what was crazy is that as a leader, the rules of engagement before COVID had changed, and I didn't clock that change. So I was there doing my thing that I can always do, deal with decisions that come my way and deal with them fast. However, the problem is that, the longer you run, the weaker you become. And that's what happened, is it started eroding, because everyone around you started to become islands. Everyone started panicking, and what had ended up happening is we'd all become islands, and our coping mechanisms, like my case, I would drive to the gym, rabbit with a friend of mine for 20 minutes, listen to some drum and bass for 40 minutes, lift some weights, then speak to a friend of mine again. That had gone, can't go to the gym anymore, so I'm not going to the gym. Then you've got everyone worrying about money, then you've got bills to pay, and then it's just a difficult situation. Anyway, culminated 6 months after there was a lockdown, maybe 4 months, when they was said you could meet up with people. My mum's 75 at the time, so she'd been on her own. I dropped an iPad off. Anyway, I brought my mum home for one day. She stayed here, and she stayed at the other side of the sofa and all that. You know what I mean? Because nobody knew what school was. And dropped her off after having seen her, first time 3 months, 4 months, and I had to lie down on my bed at 2:00 in the afternoon, and then I couldn't move. All of a sudden, all sweat started coming on my back, like sweat, as in there's as if you've done 40 minutes of high intensity training. Sweat was forming, and I went to the toilet. It took me 15 seconds to walk, but normally 3 seconds, and I turned into a 90-year-old man. That's probably the best way to describe it. I was gone, shot to pieces, and what that is a nervous breakdown. Your nervous system has shut down, and because it can't handle too much. If I go to the gym and I go and lift a weight and it's like 40 kilo and then I do 41, there comes a point when it breaks. That's what happened to my brain. And and I had 2.5 weeks of my wife said to you, what, a cup of tea or coffee? And that's what people don't understand. I'm 49. And everyone was going through this and everyone was toughing it out. And actually, I'm all right now. But, it just shows you, that, that you can't run from your brain.
Yeah. Well, just going off the COVID thing that you were on about there, like I was in Australia and then I had to come back because of COVID because my dad was really vulnerable. And I thought it was going to come back 2 months, maybe, as I said, 4. I'll be back in Australia, New Zealand. And it obviously wasn't. But I mean, it's just how life goes, isn't it?
Jack, can I just say something about that? It's really interesting. Worst day of my life, January 2nd, 1995, I got shot at in Manchester. 2 bullets went through my window. And actually, if that hadn't happened, I would never have moved away from Manchester. I'd never met my wife and never started a business, never written 4 books, never been a motivational speaker. So everything happens for a reason. And that's the thing to understand and recognise this. As shit as it's been the last couple of years, it allows, that goes back to the question, what does this make possible? And it allows for a fresh start. Let me be quite clear. If I'd not been shot at, I wouldn't be speaking to you now. No. So do you see what I'm saying? This stuff, it's like rolling the dice. But it's not only our dice that have been rolled, it's the world's dice that have been rolled. And some good will come from this, I promise you.
Yeah, 1,000%. I think, as you said, I really believe in everything will happen for a reason. Have you ever read The Secret?
Yeah.
I really believed in that. I mean, when it's on about, if you believe something will happen, it will happen.
So have you read the book The Power of Now?
No, I haven't.
Read that. Power of Now, it is 10 times better than The Secret and actually more late. I would suggest that Power of Now righted me. So Power of Now, very similar to The Secret. Read Power of Now. And it's genuinely a game changer. And there's something about this manifestation stuff, which I don't like that word. It sounds bollocks. However, if you're single-minded and single-focused and you've got belief, you've got more chance of stuff happening. No two ways about it, because you'll walk past signposts that you wouldn't see because you're not tuned into it. So if you think about my what I was really good at years ago was having fun. So I found a lot of fun in my life. If you focus on starting networking meetings, I was good at networking meetings, writing books, motivational speaking. So whatever you focus on, you get. And if you focus on daft shit, drugs, partying, women, whatever, guess what you'll get? Drugs, partying and women. And that's great. Until, of course, it's not great. And we've all got to adapt. We've all got to change. And I think that's what I'd say about these last 2 years. We've all got to adapt. We've all got to change.
Yeah, so you attract, isn't it? You attract what you think. So like you attract what you want to do.
100%. Yeah, 100%. You'll find whatever you look for.
Yeah. So just to give some more background information on you. So you've done talks with Bentley, Costa, JCB. So how did you feel before you just going out on the stage? Do you ever get nervous before?
Yeah. So, and anyone who tells you they don't is lying. So, there's no rhyme or reason for it. I've just spoke over 2,500 times in public, and you could speak 10 times in a row, and then number 8. Yeah. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just like being a human. It's weird.
Has that ever happened to you?
Say again, mate?
Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, of course it has. I've died on stage numerous times, and actually I've had fear backstage where I'd quite happily, if I could do a Men in Black, one of those things where they blast everyone and everyone forgets, I would do and give them the money back. So, it's all part of it. Now, I remember speaking with a former world champion, that's probably the best way to describe it, and actually I said to them, do you ever get nerves? And they said, yeah, totally. And actually there's been times when there's been times when they're due to fight, and the heart's pounding, but they can't show fear, because if they show fear, they can. The opponent will see that and actually little gains. So you've got to not show fear. In my case, when people ask me, do I see fear or whatever, I'll be really honest about it, and I'm good with that.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I'm not a motivational speaker myself.
Not yet, Jack.
I can't really. Well, I can do public speaking, but I get really nervous before, and I just,
Can I give you a tip, Jack? Nobody sees your nerves, and what I mean by that is you've got 2 minutes from the minute that you feel that your nerves coming to get yourself back. So when you start thinking, oh my God, I'm dying, nobody knows. And I've proven this because I've trained people up and down the land, and actually I've proven it like 100 times, where people are asked them to write down their nerves on a scale of 1 to 10, and they write them down on 9, 10, 11. And then they ask the audience, say, guys, be really honest. What was their nerves? 2, 3, boom. So people can't see, yeah. People can't see your nerves. So whenever you think you're losing it, you're not. You've got 2 minutes to get yourself back.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to take that on board actually, because
Please.
I mean, at the start of this journey with the Rarity Found clothing, I mean, I was like, I can't approach somebody. I couldn't approach you at the networking event. I'd be really scared and really nervous about it. And then now, I think following from the journey that we started to where we are now, I think I can go to anybody and just.
Hey, let me tell you something. You've got something that most people don't have: youth on your side, and you've got naivety. And what I mean by that is, once it's gone, it's gone. Right now, you go knock on as many doors as you can and ask, right? Because at 21, like, my hat goes off to you, and like, seriously, like, you should be patting yourself on the back. Don't think it's your age being a negative. It's an absolute positive. And one of the things I say about that naivety is that I used that when I first started my business off. I started motivational speaking. I was swearing on stage. I was doing all sorts of shit that actually people who are seasoned wouldn't do that. But that's what made me edgy. That's what made me people gravitate to me, because I was real. And all I was doing was being me. There was no like tactics or strategy to it. I was just being me talking. And I think that that's what you do. You should knock on as many doors as possible. And by all means, the fact that you got on the phone to me, and I'm a busy guy, and yet it was like, yeah, boom, in one, done. How good's that? I mean, that's, that to me, mate, it'll be a lot easier for you to get other guests now.
Yeah. Oh,
you had me. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot easier.
Yeah, 100%. So run us through your books. I'm really interested. I haven't got them personally.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to know how you started, how you thought of, I'm going to write a book today.
So credibility, it was one of those ones in that people weren't taking me serious. So by writing a book, Get Off Your Ass, it was a credibility piece. And back in the day when I wrote that book, 2008, people didn't have books. There was never a book called Get Off Your Ass. There's no books with swear words on the front. That was like so radical. So I wrote that. Then I wrote a second one, and actually people bought the first one. It's like, okay. And then the third one, I had a big major publisher contact me for about life business, which got easy. They took that on, Wiley Capstone. And then the fourth one, Now What, which really I reached the point in my life at 42. 7 years ago I wrote that. 7 years ago, geez. So at 42, I'd kind of hit every single goal in my life. Like, genuinely, there was nothing that I'd not achieved. Nothing sensible anyway. I have 3 Lamborghinis and different colours. But every goal that I'd set, I'd achieved at 42. And I'm writing my next book at the moment called Life Maker, which is a different one, which you look at, you said about The Secret. I've almost gone on a spiritual journey. That's probably the best way to describe it. My focus of being, for the sake of this conversation, physical early in my life, then to get to business, I'm now in that stage where I'm kind of spiritual. So it's, and I don't mean religion. I'm on about like just looking at the world differently and looking at life, about what's important in life. And it ain't Lamborghinis, and it ain't frigging traveling first class, I promise you. And having thought that that's what success was, I've seen many, many people who have lots of money that are not happy. They're not content. And that to me says to me that, okay, that maybe, just maybe, there's something in this, content thing, which is where I'm at right now.
Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, going off the thing with if you're really, really rich, really loads of money, have everything that you want, not happy. But when I was in Fiji, that clicked for me big time, because I did a volunteering project in Fiji, building a community centre. And I was just on an island with 12 other people for 2 months. And I saw my thought on life changed big time, because you see these people who've got fuck all, and they're just the happiest people on earth.
And Jack, this is the problem. Is what's happened in the world is, if I ask a million people, do you have a perfect life? No. Do you have a perfect business? No. But if you go on Instagram, all you'll see is perfect lives and perfect businesses. And we've been sold a fucking pup, because what happens is we end up looking at this thinking, my life doesn't have all these things. That's why, look how happy these people are. They ain't happy. They just pretend happy for social media. And it's like, genuinely, when you cut beyond the chase. And look, if I didn't have this attitude that I've got at the moment, can you imagine how devastated I'd be losing my £1.6 million business to nothing overnight? Like, I'd be like, oh, traumatised, I need to off myself, fuck off. I've got everything. I've achieved more than a lad from Salford, Manchester, should ever have done. Yeah. I was speaking over in Dubrovnik in a 5-star fucking hotel. He put me up, had dinner with Tim Peake, the astronaut. What is that about? Like 2 months ago. Like, what is that about? Spent 4 hours with Tim Peake, me and him. Yeah, like, just... you just get your mind's blown. You think, how the fucking hell did a guy from Salford, Manchester, lived in a council estate, got shot up? How did I do that? And I did it through decisions. Not one big decision, but thousands, if not tens of thousands of small micro decisions. Yeah. And that's what people need to do. It's not one big decision, and that's what's sold on the social media. You join my course, you find my blueprint for success. Oh, fuck off. Bullshit. If you were that successful, why are you selling courses on blueprints of success?
It's so true. It is really true, isn't it? Yeah. But how is Tim Burton? Well, Tim Burton, I mean, he's a big celebrity. So what's
Tim Peake, the astronaut. The director. Tim Peake, the astronaut. He was the guy who did the ISS. He was the first ever and only ever spacewalk Britain. Just fascinating to spend, like I say, 4 hours with that guy.
You see all the videos of him doing all the things in space.
Just done it. Yep.
Brilliant. So now I want to go to where we started. The first Brad Burton, the number one motivational speaker. I'd love to know about that. Love to know a lot more.
So I looked at the whole motivational speaker game. It's a bit like what you said about you get what you focus on, and it was all American motivational speakers. Woo! Come on, everyone, jump together, dance around. Oh, fuck off! That's never. I'm never gonna start hugging people who I don't know. And it's not like it's just false. It's just false environment to get that short termism. And I looked at it and I went, that's not what Britain needs. Britain does not need that as motivation. That's not what the pinnacle of motivation is. And I looked at the UK scene and it was full of people selling certainty, Lamborghinis, and actually I thought, no. There's a better way here. I've never been over Mount Kilimanjaro. I've never been over the Great Wall of China on a fucking unicycle and a Pacamac. I've never done anything like that. I've never been an explorer. I've never circumvented the Atlantic Ocean. But what I have done is I've turned my life around. And actually, I've got myself in a positive mindset. As a speaker, as a human, every single day I wake up in a positive mindset, unless I don't. And what I mean by that is there used to be a time when I was like 50-50. Whether I wake up good Brad or face like a slapped arse Brad. Which one was it? Now I reckon I've got down to 95% positive, 5% negative. I've trained my brain and I realised that actually if I can do it for myself, I can do it for other people. And that's exactly what I've done. And it's amazing because I think I'm always ahead of the curve with a lot of this stuff. I think that I'm going to be the one to watch on this one because I think my timing could not have been better. I've been on this thing for the last 10 years, this whole journey about, hey, guess what, it's not money. And that doesn't mean that money isn't important and I would like more money than less. If there was a button here and every time I pressed it I got £100, I'd be sat here all night pressing it, right? But there comes a point when actually you get diminishing returns on that money. And what I mean by that is if you're flying first class everywhere, it's no longer first class, it's just standard class. Yeah. And this is the thing, I'd love loads of money. Would you like to be Kim Kardashian? What do you mean by that? Well, you'd have to walk around with bodyguards all day long. Your kids couldn't go to normal parks. You're getting scrutiny every single way. You've got to make certain what you wear. You're going to have the paparazzi following you around. But on the flip side, you can live in an amazing big mansion, but you can't see anyone. You can't trust anyone because you've got hidden cameras. You've got under death threats every 2 minutes. Count me out. So on that basis, this is the bit that we need to understand. Where is the line? Where is the line? You're a billionaire, is that what you want? Because I certainly don't. So, having a Lamborghini, yeah, it'd be nice. But actually, what I'd rather have beyond the Lamborghini, and this is a bit that people can understand, right, is that contentment, everyone can have. Happy, everyone can have. Not everyone can have a multi-million-pound business. Not everyone can have a Lamborghini. So that thing, if you want an Lamborghini, if you want a multi-million-pound business and this, that, and the other, if you never get that in your life, all your life, you're going to feel a failure.
Yeah.
And this is what I try to say to people. Look, not everyone's going to achieve as much as I have. Not everyone's going to achieve as much as my mate who's got bigger businesses than me. So by recognizing that the thing that we can all get is happy and content. If you get happy, if you get content, then what you need to do is establish whether you do want all that. Or maybe the reason that you want all that is so that you can be happy and content. And that's been my experience of that people want money, riches, travel to be happy and content. When people get there, they've got money, riches and travel and they're still not happy and content, that's when the fucking problem hits, because you go, oh shit, oh, it must be a bigger telly, it must be a faster car, it must be a bigger exhaust, it must be, and that is where the problem. I've seen that happen so many times, and that's not to say I go back and I don't think for a minute that I'm down on money, but what I'm more up on is life and happy and content. And that doesn't mean that I'm not driven, that doesn't mean I'm not ambitious, but what it does mean above all, I'm happy.
That's really good. I think you've got to get your foundation straight. I think everything that will happen in life, you've got to get your foundation straight. I think thinking to obviously people with mental health that will be watching this, I mean, you've got to like talk to somebody, get your foundation straight, as we said, and then move forward from that. Go back to step one.
Jack, here's the thing, you know, there's been times in my life where, so I've been addicted to drugs twice, going back 15, 20 years ago, whatever it was. And the only reason I stopped doing drugs is because I run out of money, right? Now, this is the bit where you go and steal your mum's fucking Hoover and go and put it in cash converters, or stop. And I decided to stop. And that's the problem. Money is an amplifier. If you've got mental health issues, all that money will do is put you in a fucking more darker situation faster. Yeah. Right? That's the reality of it. Because like I say, the only reason I stopped doing drugs is I run out of money. Fact. Now, money is an amplifier. If you're miserable, money will make you more so. It'll allow you to be miserable with money. Yeah. Now, what I go back down to this thing though about, all right, let me give you a great example to understand. I'll give you £1 million now, Jack. £1,000,000. The problems that you've got in your life would fall away. Pretty much, lots of them would fall away.
Yeah.
But the only condition of that £1 million is that you're going to die in 25 hours. Would you take that £1,000,000?
No.
So that says to me that today is worth over £1 million fucking pound. Yet, and everyone's life, yet we take it for granted. Think about what I've just fucking said. I'd give you £1 million, but you can't survive over 25 hours. Fuck that. So that says that today's worth £1 million. Every single fucking day is worth £1 million. And yet people just take it for granted. People get pissed off. Oh, I've got no fucking money. The telly's not big enough. Shut the fuck up. You got something that one of the richest men in the world doesn't have. Steve Jobs. He would give you every single fucking penny of Apple reserves to have one day back on this fucking world.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm trying to say, is that you've got everything. You get your fucking head right, you'll get your life right. Get your life right, you'll get your business right. But where people try to do is to try to get the business right, to get the life right, and to get the head right. It doesn't work like that. It's counterintuitive.
Yeah, big time. I mean, you see, like Bill Gates. Bill Gates is a great example of that. I mean, he's got all the money in the world, but he'll still go down to the corner shop and line up to go in. I respect that massively.
100%. And I think that, you know, this is the bit, you just want normal. So when I've ever stayed at hotels and I've been on the road and I've been staying at hotels, there comes a fucking time where you just don't want hotel food. You just want fucking ham, egg and chips, or, you know, toast, beans and toast, whatever. But this is the thing, is that we're sold this pup, and I get it. You know, I get it. And let me be quite clear. You know, I've had a holiday of a lifetime 13, 14 times. Right, I've had a holiday the likes of which, you know, going to Disney in August or whatever, and I've done that not the highest level, because I don't stay at the highest level. There was a time when I could have afforded the best of the best of the best, the top. Yeah. And yet I didn't go. I didn't go to the best of the best. Why? Because I'd had to wear a polo shirt and a pink polo shirt and shorts and I make sure, fuck off. Yeah. You know, and that's what people end up doing. They end up leaving their line where they feel comfortable with social circles and stuff, to somehow elevate themselves. But actually, I'm quite happy being where I am. And like I say, if I've been to Disney World 13 times as a guy from Salford with no qualification, I've done okay. And if I never went again, I've done okay. Because this is the thing, mountaineers don't stay at the top of mountains, they don't stay at the bottom either. It's always moving, and this is what people want to do. They need to recognize that actually life is always in flux. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And once you accept the imperfection of life and in business and career and mental health, life's better. But what we end up doing is wanting to be tip top all the time. Life doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I agree with that 1,000%. I think what I love about you is the fact that you couldn't give a shit what people say. Like you don't care. Like I mean, like
no, but Jack, the people I care about is people I care about. And what I mean by that, if somebody doesn't like me and they want to go on fucking social media and say I'm a twat, fine. There was a time when I'd go and get my 6-shooter out, metaphorically speaking, and go and fire him back to them. Not interested. Let them waste their life. Let them waste their life talking about me. They are deluded. It doesn't make no difference if you could be Mahatma Gandhi and somebody would want to put a bullet in your head for your views on world peace. Martin Luther King, and actually somebody wants to. It's fucked up. The world is fucking mad. People are crackers. And actually what you need to do is focus on you. Are you happy with you? If the answer is yes, then good. I have a religion. My religion is called Buddhism. Help many, hurt few, live life. That is what I live towards. No Bible. Help many, hurt few, live life. And people say, what do you mean by hurt few? Because you can't go through life without hurting people. It's impossible. With the best intent in the world. Because if you don't make decisions that on occasion hurt people, you're going to hurt yourself. And that is why people end up in a mental mess.
Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, I'm just thinking about what he's saying. It's really good stuff. It really is, because it makes me think of,
But Jack, when I went to the careers office as a 16-year-old, they never said, "Oh, you make a great fucking motivational speaker." I've had to create that for myself, that life for myself. And this is what you can understand, that your framework within here, your brain, is going to dictate your life. And what I mean by that is when I first moved down from Salford, from Salford to Somerset, I'd walk around like this. You're looking at your fucking knobhead, right? And actually, what do you reckon that I'd have run a business if I walked around with a fucking attitude? What you're looking at your knobhead. But what I did that for is because of conditioning, being brought up in Salford, Manchester, that protected you from anyone messing with you. Until, of course, you get 2 bullets through your window, and it didn't protect me from anything. What it did, it protected me from opportunities. And it's about this. You get this control of this, you get control of your life. But what goes on is people think short term. Sex, alcohol, drugs. They never get to the medium and long term. Don't get me wrong, I've done all that stuff and it's been fucking amazing. I wouldn't change a single thing about it. So just be quite clear there. Don't start thinking, I've got a halo. No, I wouldn't change a single thing about it. However, there comes a point when if you're fucking my age and you still bang at it on that one, something's going very wrong with your fucking life.
Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, do you feel proud of yourself that you've done this? Where you are now? Sorry,
great question.
Where you were, and
that's a great question. I don't even believe anyone's ever asked me that. So in answer to your question, absolutely yes, I do. And I think I'm living proof that anyone can turn their life around. Anyone can turn your life around, but it starts here, and it's going to be hours 3 stone, 4 stone heavier. You go and Google me, Brad Burton, working lunch, and go and have a look at that. I look like a fat fucking zombie, right? I'm unrecognisable. So not only am I physically unrecognisable, I'm mentally unrecognisable. So you think about, you go to the gym and you go and train. Oh my God, you look amazing. What about your mental state? What does that look like? When was the last time you went to a mind gym? Nobody does. But you do 40 minutes in the gym, bench pressing. Oh, look at me. Nobody ever does 40 minutes in the mind gym. And that's what I do on a daily basis. I put myself through my own mind gym.
Do you do meditation at all?
Yeah, I do. I started Christmas Eve this year, and that book, That Power of Now, that's that's kind of got me on that caper. I do on average 15 minutes a day meditation. It sets me up massively, and I would absolutely recommend it. Meditation Mountain is a Spotify playlist. Meditation Mountain, I swear by it.
Yeah, I mean, meditation is brilliant because you can see your own. Like you can just you're there with your own thoughts, aren't you?
Well, because we don't do that, and so I've not listened to the news since Christmas Eve. I've not listened to the news, not watched the news. I don't listen to the radio anymore. I don't listen to the news on the radio. I just drive in silence, thinking, allowing myself to process. Could you imagine my last 7 months if I would have been bombarded, pandemics, wars, leadership bullshit, fuel crisis, Yeah. I don't know anything about anything that goes on. You hear it, Boris has gone, I hear it, the pandemic, fuel prices, you can't miss it. Anything that's important will get to me news-wise. But I ask yourself this question, I'd rather be uninformed and happy than informed and miserable.
Yeah, 1,000%. Do you believe that, this is a bit of a controversial opinion, But do you believe that, the news and stuff is sometimes manipulated?
Oh, 100% In the
Yeah.
same way that you manipulate people, in the same way that I manipulate people or encourage them a particular way, or why wouldn't a newsreader do the same? Why wouldn't a news organization do the same? Of course. It's a culture. Think about that. Any organization, news organization has a culture. It's a culture, right? That's where it comes from. So invariably, everyone's got their own bias, and anyone who says they're not biased is a fucking lying bastard. So yes, absolutely. But by taking yourself out of news, you can't allow yourself, because we are what we see, what we hear, what we eat. And actually, if you don't eat, you don't hear, you don't see, how can it affect you? And that's where I'm at right now. So my world is good. If I was bombarded with, if you think of this cup filled up with water, and then you try to put some news in, splashing around, it's going to just make a mess of it. That's what your brain's like. There comes a point, and this is why mental health is so affected. You can't help, oh my God, look at the fucking fuel crisis. Oh my God, October, we're going to have another 50%. Stop fucking worry about that then. Yeah. What the fuck are you worrying about it now for 3 months away? What advantage is there to doing that? But that's what worry is. Worry is a down payment on future things that haven't happened. And actually, I'd rather get myself to a point where I'm worried about stuff that is real rather than worrying about stuff that may or may not be real.
Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because the news has always been in our lives
until it's not been in our lives.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, when I was a kid at 1980, we didn't have rolling news. You had news at 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. That was it. And newspapers. Nowadays, there's rolling news. If you want to go and hear about schools that have been bombed, you can just go on telly right now and watch it. Yeah. That's dangerous. That's dangerous that we think that that's acceptable. Yeah. And actually go back to what I say. Well, you don't care about the people of Ukraine. That's bullshit. The point is that I cannot help the people of Ukraine beyond what I've already done. Right? I can't help the shootings over in America, let's say. I assume there's been shootings. I can't do anything about it. The Americans can. I can't do anything about it. So I can be aghast and I can go, oh my God, look at that, the school shooting, that's terrible. How does that help the fucking situation? How does it help me? How does it help me with my family, keeping them together? How does it help me, my mum, if my head's all Swiss cheese? Bear in mind, I got Swiss cheesed 2021, as I said to you. I had a burnout 2.5 weeks. Now, go back to 2012, I had a nervous breakdown, which was 2.5 years to get back to normal. 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
2.5 years, I shit you not. So there's a picture of me here with my chairman. Let me just take a photograph and you can see it then, because I think it's quite an important one from your audience perspective. So this is me in 2012 having a nervous breakdown. Right? And I'm not joking when I say this. That's the picture that's on my wall.
Right, you look completely different.
Right, 3 stone heavier. Me telling my chairman I quit. And him saying, do you trust me? I said, yeah. He said, we ain't fucking quitting. He said, I get it, you're scared. I get it. But we're not quitting. We're going to do it 6 months' time. We're going to put a date down. And if 6 months' time you still want to quit, we'll let you quit. Everything that could go wrong did. Like I say, problems at home, relationship problems, bad decisions, bad diet, 3 stone heavier, type 2 diabetes, blood pressure, financial problems, legal problems. Just a fucking mess. But that goes back down to it. My life was like a game of Jenga. It was just a big wobbly tower of success. It just took one brick and it all went. Yeah, 2.5 years to get back.
Wow. Did you feel like, I know I've used proud before, but did you feel like a sense of achievement when you lost all the weight, got your mind into gear?
No. You don't even see it. That's subtle. You don't even clock it. So I look at it now and I feel good, man. At 49, I look better than I did at 39. Yeah. And I'm mentally I'm stronger. But it just shows you, you think about what I know now at 49. If I knew what I knew now at your age, just think how far forward I'd be.
Yeah.
I didn't start with business until I was 31. You're 21. So you think about that, fucking hell. If I had this mindset I've got now, I could somehow wild stuff.
That's what I'm trying to achieve now. So, I'm working. So I'm going to traveling again.
Good lad.
End of the month with Reese, who will be on the podcast soon. And I'm working 2 jobs.
Jack, why don't you come and work with me?
Happily.
Let's talk beyond this.
Yeah, 1,000%. I don't even have to say different. But what we're doing.
We'll have a pick up beyond this. Go on, mate.
So I'm working two jobs.
What are you doing?
So I'm in a warehouse, one of them, and I'm at a bar on the weekend. So I'm working 7 days a week.
So can I just say, fucking hats off to you. Like, seriously, fucking hats off to you, mate. You know, I was delivering pizza at 31 and I was beating myself up about it. And actually, I look back and I should have been patting myself on the back for keeping my dream alive. And that, to me, the fact that, you know, you've approached me and the fact that we're talking now, I like it, Jack. I think, you got that X factor that actually most kids at your age don't have. And the fact that you're a grafter, love it.
Thank you very much. So just to conclude the podcast, I asked this in the other podcast with another guest, but it finds it for me. I would know a lot about you from what your answer. So you've got one last meal. Who do you invite? You got 5 people to invite.
So is this from my family or living?
Anybody, celebrities, family.
Oh, I couldn't give a fuck about celebrities. Not asked. You know, honestly, could not give a fuck. Couldn't give a bollocks. And that's the thing. It's amazing, Jack. You know, I've met some amazing people and they don't impress me apart from SAS Man, Rusty Firmin, pal of mine, and Tim Peake. Both are like blew my mind off. But, you know, I wouldn't be inviting them. Well, not on my last meal, not a chance. My mum, my children, and my wife.
So that shows to me that I think concluding the podcast, it just shows that you're family orientated. You don't really give a bollocks about any celebrities or anything. It's really.
You know something, Jack? I've met some amazing people and people who have achieved so much. But actually, what kind of impresses me more is when a working mum's got 2 kids and she's rolling down 3 jobs. That impresses me more than a dragon off Dragon's Den. Like, you know, leafing through £50 notes. I couldn't give a fuck. I couldn't give a fuck. And that's a wonderful place to be from, in that I don't doff my cap to anyone. And that's not to say that I'm rude to anyone, because I'm not. But what I'm doing is, whether it's frigging Colin the carpet cleaner or Alan Sugar, they're both getting treated exactly the same.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, and people can't get their heads around that. I've got a very wealthy friend, and that's what he said about me. He said, I couldn't fucking believe it. Everywhere I go, I get fresh paint. You couldn't give a fuck. I'm like, you know, you go and get fresh paint elsewhere, and it's not that I'm being rude. It's just that, you know, you're a human being like you and I, and actually all that you've done is made amazing achievements for your own life. But you've not actually changed the world. You know, you feathered your own nest, and that's great. You know, like, genuinely respect for you, but you know, it doesn't impress me.
Yeah. Well, Brad, it's been lovely talking to you. I mean, I'm inspired. I'm sure everybody else will be inspired. So where can everybody find you? Are you on?
Yeah, just Google me, Brad Burton, or whatever, TikTok. I'm got on TikTok now. I've been starting with pointing and thinking now. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on everything. In fact, I've got 2 blue ticks. I've got one on Instagram, one on Twitter, and one on Facebook. But yeah, just find me at Brad Burton. I'd love to hear your feedback and what have you. But listen, beyond this, Jack, let's talk next week. Contact Pippa as regards whether you can work with us, because I'm sure there's some angles. I just genuinely, I'm very impressed.
Thank you very much. Right, see you in a bit, guys.
Cheers.